Greetings everyone, and before I begin ranting and raving incoherently, I thought I'd tell you about Anchor by Spotify. It is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need to do it all in one place. And believe me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone. And when you host through Anchor, you can distribute your podcast through listening platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and even more. It has everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. And best of all, it's free. That's right, Anchor is free, and who does not like free? So if you're interested or you want to make your podcast today, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That is the Anchor app or anchor.fm to get started.
Hello and welcome back to another Ludicrous car review where I have missed a week once again. However, this time I had a good reason to. You see, my brother graduated from college with a master's degree in finance, something I will never be able to accomplish. The fact is that my brother has been doing that for quite a few years now. She went back to get his master's degree in that, and, well, I was very proud of him that, and, given the choice in that, I didn't really have time to record an episode in that, so I didn't really worry about it too much. It was a proud time. Very proud of him. Not that I will be able to accomplish anything such as that, because, well, my feeble brain does not handle calculus at all. Anyways, with all that aside, and with my excuse out of the way, let's get on to a little bit of news, shall we? Because, well, after missing a week, there was about more news than I knew what the hell to do with. Yep, it built up very quickly because, well, the problem is that I don't really have another car to review either. There has been a couple of car announcements in that overall, but the problem is there isn't really a consistent amount of cars being released. This is due to the fact that car companies are beginning to push off their brand announcements and that because, well, let's face it, there isn't any cars coming out. A lot of them are being pushed back due to the chip shortage and that, and to be honest, it's not really that big of a surprise. Wow, honestly, I would love to see more cars coming out, and I do hope in the future that it will be like that. The problem is that, well, let's face it, what's the point of releasing a car if you're not going to be able to actually make the damn thing anyways? So, with that out of the way, let's get on to a little bit of news, shall we? Because we got a lot of it to cover, most of it in recalls and, well, fiery crashes and explosions. Well, let's just get into it. First off, let's start off with a little bit of older news, but this has been actually building up for about a couple of years now, actually. There's been records coming out from Kia and Hyundai about Kia Souls, I believe, basically, and a couple of Hyundai SUVs as well, I think Santa Fe's, well, catching fire, yes, bursting into flame going down the road. The problem is with these, well, fiery things, it's not like the engine is, well, bursting the flame on top. It's actually lighting on fire on the bottom. Some investigators suggest even the oil pan. A couple of situations involve, I don't know, I think it was loose wires, they said. Another situation involved literally, well, the cylinder literally blowing out the bottom, catching the oil pan on fire, and, well, lighting the whole car's underneath into a giant ball of flame. The problem is there has been over 5,000 cases of these cars starting on fire, and about a couple hundred people actually being injured, with I think it was 4 or 5 people actually even being killed in these fiery crashes. These things are literally just catching fire out of the blue, and the problem is the driver might not even realize the car is on fire because it's underneath the vehicle. Unless you happen to look back and see smoke or somebody waves you down, the fact is that you're not going to notice it probably until it's too late. And the problem is these fires are actually eating into, I think, the brake system as well. A couple of people have reported that they've been unable to stop the vehicles. I don't know if it's because it's getting into the brake lines or the master cylinder is overheating, but something is causing these cars to literally, well, fail. So the cars affected in this, well, problem is I think it says the 2016 through 2018 Santa Fe, the 2017-2018 Santa Fe's 19s as well, and the 2014 to 2015 Tucson's, along with, I think it's pretty much the 2020 to 2021 Kia Souls. Now, they've actually had a lot of problems with these engines in the past. They've actually had several recalls on these things, a couple of them even relating to possibly similar issues. All these engines supposedly were inspected and, well, have been certified by Kia, and they've extended warranties on them, but that doesn't do a whole lot of good if you're inside a fiery ball of flame. The problem is that Kia is, well, attempting to take the runabout to the eventual and honestly unfortunate problem. This engine problem affects 5.8 million cars, and the fact is that Kia and Honda brand is going to have to probably, well, take the kick in the cojones and probably end up replacing or doing a large repair job on all of these engines. The fact is that I don't think this is a matter of just swapping out a few parts under warranty and calling it a day. I think it goes way beyond just that. And honestly, if they don't fix it soon, I think they're going to probably get caught up in a lot of lawsuits. The fact is this has gone under the radar for quite a long time, actually a few years now. This has been reported in several vehicles overall, and to be honest, I'm surprised somebody hasn't brought it up earlier. But honestly, keep an eye out if you're driving a Kia Soul or a Santa Fe, because honestly, you want to check over that engine and have it inspected as soon as possible. Get it into your dealership. Not that honestly I trust them entirely, but just get a little bit of peace of mind, and honestly do a little bit of research on the engine you're driving, because it could definitely save your life. Now, I don't have a whole lot of information on the engine. I think it is a 6-cylinder. Let me see here. Let's see, 2015 Santa Fe. I don't really have a number on the engine that's actually causing these explosions, but definitely look up the information and let's see here. Whatever vehicles are injured. Yeah, they said analog base short circuit. Okay, so I didn't find the engine, but I did find there where I said the possible causes could be one person related it to the anti-lock brake system malfunctioning, causing a short circuit, which resulted in a fire. Now, like I said, that's a bit of a runabout system. A couple of fire for people have said there's a couple other problems with it, but that's what they're saying overall. But keep an eye out for you if you're driving one of those vehicles. You definitely want to know what in Samso's going on with that. Anyways, on with other news than that, Rivian. Well, Rivian's sinking like a stone, which is not really a surprise. Rivian has got over 10,000 new orders and reaffirms 25K in production, but the problem is with recent problems with the price gouging that they tried to do by raising the prices and on already pre-owned buyers, and having to lower the price and causing a big problem with that. They have lost over 1.593 billion in the first quarter, over $1.77 per share, which is a pretty dang big allowance considering this car as well. They haven't had any of these really rolling off the lot like crazy. The fact is that it has been pretty much, anyone. The rate of these things, let's see, the factory's been built with a $1,500 run rate, but honestly, I don't think any more than 2,000 vehicles, 2,500 vehicles were produced in quarter one. It's no surprise that Rivian is struggling, obviously, with a chip shortage and, scandals. And the fact is that, starting a car company is never easy. And the problem is when you already have brands like Tesla out there kicking you on the shin when they can just, got Elon Musk backing them and that. The fact is that it's hard to start up an electric car company, especially considering that people are already leery of electric cars, especially when you start pricing with their price point they try to gouge out of people. The problem is, during that price gouging, that they lost a lot of orders. I mean, they did reaffirm it and that and said that if you want the car, it's still optional. But the problem is, a lot of people did end up canceling their orders, and it definitely hurt the company quite a bit. And with shares dropping, honestly, I only can't be pictured. So, not really much else to say about that. And more important news, because I think Cadillac's doing some pretty cool stuff, I can't deny it. I'm not ever been really the biggest component of Cadillac in that, but it's hard to know what they're doing. Some of their stuff is actually pretty damn cool. Cadillac announced that in 2023, Cadillac estimated the first 882 horsepower for this 3-ton SUV will be released. This is getting I don't know if it's that. I think it's a 6.2-liter supercharge that's in the current. I think it's in that one Blackhawk. What is it? Damn it! I forgot. How the hell did I forget that damn cool car? Anyways, it's the one in there. The last V8 they're producing in that. Honestly, I think they're just going to be treating this like a Hemi Wildcat engine, probably stuffing this in everything Cadillac has. But the fact is that it's the last V8 they're producing, so they're just kind of going out with a big hoorah. Now, honestly, I'm not sure I want to be taking a 682 horsepower, 3-ton SUV, anything close to 50 miles an hour, but honestly, it's not like I haven't done it before. It is pretty damn cool, honestly. I'm not the biggest fan of Cadillac's overall looks, but, I mean, it's damn cool. I can't deny that. It is a pretty damn cool engine that they produce, a supercharged V8, definitely top notch in that. Honestly, they could actually probably, if they would actually stick to the bit and actually fight it, they could probably even rival, they could rival Hellcat if they were careful. Honestly, it's kind of sad, though, thinking about it, that, because, Corvette or Camaro was supposed to be their muscle cars and that, and, with Corvette announcing that they'd be switching to EV production and that, it's kind of sad that Cadillac, of all brands, is the one that you have to rely on to, produce muscle cars. I get that they've done it in the past a little bit, but the fact is, unfortunately, let's face it, Cadillac is kind of known as your richer or older person brand. It's a hard reputation to shake. They've been trying to update it. Unless you're rich or an older fella, you don't usually drive Cadillacs in that. And it's an unfortunate brand recognition to have, but let's face it, I mean, it just always lingers in the back of your mind no matter how hard you try to forget it. In other news from Cadillac, they announced the price for their Lyric, and just like every other, well, expensive electric car produced, it's going to start around $62,000. That ain't freaking cheap. I'm noticing a trend. I get it's Cadillac in there, but honestly, I don't see how people are going to ever afford these electric vehicles. I get it's a luxury car, but damn, it's a small SUV at $39,000. Cheaper Cadillacs, those big fancy SUVs, priced out pretty damn high. You can basically get a top of the line thing for that same size SUV and a gasoline ICE engine, and well, I save you a little money. It probably cost you probably about $60,000. You'd have it priced out to the max. This is the base price for that Lyric, which means you're probably not getting the max range, you're not getting all the fancier features. I imagine you're probably going to get these tiny little SUVs, probably close to the $80,000 range. Probably pretty damn easy. I think it's insane, but, well, you're buying a Cadillac. What do you expect? In other fiery, flaming news, recall again from Ford. 39,000 Ford Expeditions and Lincoln Navigators might catch fires ordered to park outside. That is right, the Ford is yet to determine the causes of the fires, but out of the 16.5 and 12 had started when the vehicle was off. Most of the news from the motor company has been rather good. It comes from a recall in the late 2020 models, the early 21 models assembled. We're only 16 have caught fire so far, but there's enough of them out there that's a little bit concerning that 16 of them catch fire, and the fact that 12 of them were off when the vehicle burst into flames is a bit concerning. I'm not sure what it is up with these cars catching fire in there, but they said they're going to be doing a recall on them, and let's see if they can find the problem is. One person was injured. That's unfortunate, man. Outside. Based on what I'm hearing and the fact that the battery car was off, I want to say it's probably related to something to the battery. I honestly can't find it. They don't have anything in yet for what's causing that. Based on what I'm thinking, these glass pack batteries might be what's causing it. They seem to be the batteries. Well, at least with the Chevy Sparks catching fire in that recently. The fact is that batteries, well, have been showing their problems a bit more recently, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was the issue. Now, these cars are constantly running some kind of electricity through them because you got computers and electronics in them and updating all that crap in that. So I'm not quite sure what's causing these fires, but it'll be interesting to find out. So if you got a Ford Expedition, which my parents do have one, I think, pretty close to this year. Actually, I think it's a little newer or older than that, actually. But if you have one of those newer years, definitely get them checked out. They use 2021 to 2020 to 2021 models. We're the ones that were probably sitting outside in the, fields a little bit, so I think that maybe it'll have something to do with it, to be honest. These ones were the chip shortage babies, basically, and probably hadn't been seeing the production line since, they've been parked and basically mothballed for a bit until they get the parts in for them. Anyways, in other news, 2024 VW XM flagship SUV. And it is just as hideous as that look. I'm not going to give too many first impressions. It's just a kind of a mock-up car that went by. But yeah, it's getting the same buck-tooth nosy grill on the front and the same sharp lines and that. I'm not going to speak too much of it, but all I'm going to say is based on one of the first pictures I'm getting, it is ugly. Honestly, I'm not sure what the hell BMW has been thinking lately, but bloody hell, it is bad. Not much to say about that, but interesting to see what that looks like in the future. Speaking of more ridiculous price cars, you know how Volkswagen's always been the microbus was like the hippie van that any man could afford, that some 16-year-old college kid could go buy out and hang out on the beach of. Yeah, this new ID Buzz, it ain't gonna be that. The fact is that this new EV, this ID Buzz from Volkswagen, their new Volkswagen bus. You know, that cheap pile of shit? Well, this cheap pile of shit's almost $60,000 in Europe. Yep, they haven't released the US models yet, but the ones in Europe are going to cost $60,000 to start. That is freaking ridiculous. Over $60,000, actually, my mistake. The fact is, this is ridiculous. This is further proof that, let's face facts here. They'll go out and buy an electric car and then save money? Yeah, that ain't a fact happening. The fact is that electric cars are, if you're a plebeian like myself, you ain't affording them. That's the major problem. The cost needs to come down, but the problem is with materials coming from China and the shortages of these materials and the cost of these materials going up, as well as, the technology may improve, but honestly, with the materials already being super rare to get a hold of, isn't like you can just go dig more gas and get builder's fuel for an engine. Batteries will still be batteries, and they're going to die at some point. And the problem is to constantly getting materials to produce these batteries is going to prove problematic, and it's not going to get cheaper, in my opinion. Yes, technology might improve, but it's only going to be able to probably keep up, in my opinion, at least with the lack of materials being found and, well, with the restrictions on where we can all get this material. But in other news from shitty car dealerships and that, we have a Chevy dealership asking a certain price for a 2023 Chevy Corvette Z06. Can you guess what it was? Yeah, that's right. $100,000 over MSRP. Now, the Z06 is produced in a little bit of 20, but God bloody hell, what the hell's wrong with this dealership? $100,000 over MSRP? What the hell happened to the days when dealerships would, offer the price of the freaking car? I don't care how rare it is. That's supposed to be profit you make when you actually buy the car. Dealerships already make a pretty dang good boatload on it, but I think it's just insane. $100,000 markup. That is just price gouging to the freaking extreme. And they're getting this from the factory. This isn't like they're buying some secondhand ultra rare car or something like that. This is factory order, for shit's sake. What the hell is wrong with this dealership? Oh, it's got me pissed off. It's like, why? It starts off already between $85,000 to $90,000. You're basically buying a $200,000 freaking Corvette. Buy the Lamborghini at that price. If I got into this dealership and said, "Oh, where's my dealership? $100,000 market," I throw the keys back in their face and say, "Well, they'll buy a freaking Ferrari. At least that'll go up in value a heck of a lot more than this thing will." It just pisses me off, is all I can say. I think that's a good place to end it, because now I'm pissed off and I'm probably going to end up swearing my way out through the rest of this outro and that. Sorry for the shorter episode and that. Like I said, I only got really news articles to share. I hope to produce a little longer episode next week when, well, we have the Ludicrous car of the month. I honestly have been debating between quite a few of them that I'm kind of him-hawing between one butt ugly pile of shit produced by a interesting car company a few years back, and, well, just a cool car from way back when. Honestly, I still haven't 100% decided on that, but when I do, you'll probably find out in the next episode. I think the next episode is 30. Yeah, I think that's next episode 20 week. Yeah, so that'll be probably next week in that. I don't think I have any other real announcements for you, other than hopefully I produce these things a little bit more consistent than that. Again, congratulations to my brother, and honestly, great work on that master's degree. I will probably never be following you in those footsteps. Anyways, I appreciate you all listening to my rant and ramblings for the day. I hope you all have a great day and a wonderful night. If you like this podcast, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great day. Goodbye.